Roses are red, monsters are scary, and a whole bunch of video games are coming out in February, and I'm here to tell you all about them. Here are February 2026's biggest game releases. Before we get started, the usual disclaimer that release dates for video games have been known to change last minute, and we also have been known to make mistakes on occasion, so apologies in advance for any inaccurate information. For best results, always check your local listings. Now, let's get into the video games. Arguably one of the worst things about warring Viking hordes is all the pushing and shoving and nobody waiting their turn. Well, if you'd like to go berserk in a more orderly fashion, the turn-based Viking sim Norse Oath of Blood will let you have a Valhalla of a good time pillaging and villaging on February 3rd for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. On February 5th, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined gives the beloved PS1 entry in the long-running JRPG series an even more thorough reimagining than it did the last time it got reimagined way back on the 3DS. All jokes aside, this game looks gorgeous, and to get this specific look, the developers actually had physical dolls made based on Akira Toriyama's original concept art, and then based their in-game models on those, which gives the whole game a really cool tactile feel, a little bit like the 2019 Link's Awakening remake. That one's coming to PS5, Xbox Series, both Switches, and PC. Also on the 5th on PC is Menace, a turn-based tactics strategy game that'll have you dispatching troops to squash various threats as they pop up on distant planets, which looks like a healthy mix of XCOM and Helldivers, but with a bit more heavy ordnance at your disposal, including mechs and tanks and the like. On the 6th, there's Nioh 3, the latest installment in Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja's hacky slashy slicey dicey Souls-a-alike, which is ready to kick your ass on PS5 and PC. That very same day on those platforms plus Xbox Series, there is My Hero Academia All's Justice, which adapts the final arc of the quirky superhero anime with a massive roster of colorful characters that you can bash together like action figures in a sandbox. Every year we have the debate about whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but here's a better question. Is Home Alone a tower defense movie? Well, regardless of your answer, Bandit Trap is an asymmetrical multiplayer game that very clearly takes some cues from the Chris Columbus classic. One player is tasked with bandit-proofing their house, and the other three have to break in and steal their stuff. Okay, now can someone do a realistic version of this, where a small child must use household items to brutally maim a couple of adult criminals? Please? Yes! You can keep that idea, you filthy animals, and in the meantime, you can play Bandit Trap on current gen and PC. In case Easy Cheese doesn't offer enough of a challenge, you can develop a bad case of lactose intolerance in Monterey Jack, a first-person survival horror game with some scary cheesemen chasing you around a, you guessed it, family fun center. That one hits Xbox Series, PS5, and PC on the 9th. On the 10th, Mugenics finally hits PC, which is the long-awaited feline-focused strategy game from The Binding of Isaac creator Edmund McMillen and Newgrounds wunderkind Tyler Glale. This was announced way back in 2012 and went through some development troubles, but it looks like it has miraculously clawed its way out of development hell, so hopefully it's worth the wait. On February 11th, you've got your pick of the quaint, cozy, and very chill-looking hidden picture game Lost and Found Company, which is on PC, or the completely bonkers balls-to-the-wall ultra-violence of Romeo is a Dead Man, the latest from kooky No More Heroes and Killer 7 creator Suda51. That one's on PC, plus the newer non-Nintendo consoles.
Oh wait, the big dogs are gonna get upset. How about this?
On the 12th, you can launder money in a literal sense with Cash Cleaner Simulator, which is coming to Xbox Series and PS5, or you can get cerebral in the color-coded Portal-like Chroma Gun 2 Die Hard, which is on those platforms plus the Switch 2 and PC. BlazBlue Entropy Effect X hits PS5, Xbox Series, and Switch, which is an enhanced version of the action roguelite set in the universe of the long-running brawler. There's Ride 6, which is about going as fast as possible to win races on a two-wheeled motor vehicle, which gets early access starting on February 9th. And then there's Disciples Domination, which is about taking your time to conquer your opponents in turn-based combat in a fantasy realm. Both of those are on Xbox Series, PS5, and PC. If you'd like a game where you have to balance the wholesome challenge of raising a bunch of adorable orphans and the necessary challenge of repeatedly beating the shit out of mobsters with a parking cone in the street, you will probably enjoy Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, the fully modern remake of the 2009 entry in the long-running series. That's coming to both PlayStations, Xbox Series, Switch 2, and PC. Any Nintendo fans who want to recreate the love triangle depicted in the hit film Challengers but have it be about Luigi and Waluigi competing for the affections of Rosalina, you have two options. Make a bunch of weird horny fan art and post it online, or take a swing at it in Mario Tennis Fever, which hits Switch 2 that day as well. If you find yourself stranded in the wilderness, you can kill time until the search and rescue team shows up by playing the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot on your Android or iOS mobile device. Hopefully they find you before you suffer any of the horrific deaths that Lara Croft is subjected to by anybody who is bad at this game. On February 13th, High on Life 2 does what not enough video game sequels do, which is stick to what worked the first time around but add skateboarding. What other games have taken this approach? I don't know. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, probably other games. In any case, if you slept on the first game, the hook here is it's a first-person shooter Metroidvania in which you play as a space bounty hunter in a galaxy where aliens are harvesting human organs for medicinal purposes. In the first one, it was for the sake of recreational drug use, but this time around, the intergalactic pharmaceutical industry is getting in on the action. Also, your guns are all talking aliens called Gatlians, voiced by a bunch of stand-up comedians. It's a good time. That one's on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC.
Oh God, I can't wait to kill this guy. So annoying.
If you'd rather have a bad time in a fun way, there's Reanimal that day as well, which is the latest puzzle platformer horror game from the team behind Little Nightmares 1 and 2. Those games managed to be plenty creepy with a T rating, and this one is going full M for mature, so I think it's gonna get real dark. A lot of video games will throw a catchy song over their trailers to get people hype, but Reanimal's pre-order trailer decided to forego that for Queen Elizabeth II's 1940 wartime address to British children in the wake of the Blitz, which sets an extremely foreboding tone. That one is on current gen and PC. Equally disturbing in a very, very different way is Screaming Head, a surreal MS Painterly 2D platformer that hits PC on the 16th and threatens in its official Steam description to make you rage, suffer, and bite your gamepad in frustration. On a more chill note, there's also Astro Botanica, an alien survival farming game which is coming to early access that same day. Calamity Angels Special Delivery sounds like something I would say to my wife and daughter when putting a plate of bagel bites down in front of them during a particularly chaotic movie night, but it is in fact a JRPG with a board game twist about managing mail carriers. That one is on the PlayStations and Switch with a PC release on the way. On the 19th, PC players also get Dead in Antares, which is a brightly colored turn-based survival management game with a dash of RPG where you are in charge of the well-being of the unreasonably attractive crew of a spaceship that's stranded on an alien planet. If you want something equally colorful but a little more fast-paced, there's also the open-world 3D platformer Demon Tides as well, which is the follow-up to Demon Turf. Finally, on the 19th, there's Styx Blades of Greed, the latest entry in the stealth series about a weird little dude creeping around doing all sorts of sneaky mischief. That one's on Xbox Series, PS5, and PC. On the 20th, East 10 Proud Nordics is the enhanced re-release of the 2023 JRPG, which puts to rest the old saying, Viking never strikes twice. That's the saying, isn't it?
That's not a thing!
In any case, that's on PS5, Switch 2, and PC. The logo kind of reads like Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six-Mobile, which conjures up imagery of a luxury vehicle outfitted with various tactical aftermarket parts that the late author could use to get himself between book signings, but it is in fact Rainbow Six Mobile. And on the 23rd, the hit Ubisoft 5v5 shooter gets a streamlined portable version for you to play on the bus or the John or wherever you may find yourself that you wouldn't be playing the regular version of this game. But on the 26th, there is Tokyo Extreme Racer, and to be perfectly honest, it is very unclear what this game is about. If I had to guess, I think you drive some sort of motor vehicle. Looks like very fast. Could be slow, not sure. Some speed in or around a major Japanese metropolis, I think. I'm sorry, I'm not more help on this one. That one's on PS5. You got to figure it out for yourself. No Sleep for Kaname Date from AI The Somnium Files is an ironically soporific title, but if that 15-syllable serving of word salad doesn't make you nod off, there is a bonkers-sounding visual novel adventure involving alien abductions and escape rooms and other mysteries to lose sleep over. That one's already on Switch and PC, but on the 26th it hits Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 4 and 5. Visual novel adventure fans are eating good that day, and Switch also gets Path of Mystery, A Brush with Death, which involves two comely anime youths solving the 30-year-old murder of a landscape painter, that old chestnut, and along the way they will encounter some throwback 8-bit sequences that attempt to make us forget that the mid-80s were actually 40 years ago, not 30.
I done the math. Checks out.
If you're old enough to have fond memories of 90s arcades, you'll be happy to know that a trilogy of classic shmups are getting a nice new collection in the form of Raiden Fighter's Remix Collection, which does in fact feature remixed music, as well as some new features and quality of life improvements. That's on the PlayStations and Switch. And then, On February 27th, the wait is finally over. That's right. Tales of Berseria has finally been remastered. Experience the 16th one-of-a-kind experience in this long-running JRPG series, overhauled and enhanced for current-gen consoles and also Switch. Congratulations to all the Berseria fans out there living their Besteria lives. Okay, I'm kidding. With all due respect to Tales fans, you and I both know that Resident Evil Requiem is the biggest game dropping this month, and it's hitting PS5, Xbox Series, PC, and Switch 2 that very same day. And man, there's a whole lot riding on this one. I was kind of tepid on this following the initial reveal and a hands-on demo at Gamescom, which was just straight horror, just creeping around in hallways and getting jump scared by a big lady. But then, after months of rumors, we got confirmation that it would also see the return of that shearling-jacketed heartthrob Leon S. Kennedy, and that the game would not just be pure survival horror, but would also feature equal measure suplexing himbo action with a dash of idiotic one-liners.
I think I want a second opinion.
Man, I'm excited for this. The series turns 30 this year, and its first 10 years saw it practically invent the survival horror genre, and then its second decade had kind of an identity crisis because RE4 changed the recipe to something action-focused and did such a good job doing it, and luckily, it eventually got back on track with that 1-2 punch of soft rebooting the franchise with RE7, and also playing the greatest hits with great remakes of 2 through 4. And now, Requiem is setting out to sort of tie all of that together. Will it work? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. And I love that just Leon shows up in his fucking Porsche, and he starts kicking zombies in the crotch and like smashing their heads open and stealing their chainsaws and just saying stupid shit. Just, what is this man? What is his deal? What is his job? What is he doing here? I'm excited for this. I love it.
Nice.
In addition to all that, if you're a Nintendo Switch 2 owner who missed out on the last 2 mainline Resident Evil installments, rest assured that 7 and Village are both getting nice shiny Switch 2 ports that you can take on the go or play under the covers in bed before you go to sleep and have terrible nightmares, because those games are scary but also a very good time. Anyway, there you have it. That is a glance at what is coming out in February, the first truly stacked month in a year that is shaping up to be seriously huge for gaming. If you haven't yet, go check out our look ahead at the biggest games coming out in 2026 that we currently know about. And also, if you're a fan of watching movies the good old-fashioned way on physical media, go check out something new we're trying out. It is the biggest 4K Blu-ray releases of the month. We have one going up for February. Please go watch that. It's a new thing. We'd love it if it became successful, and we need your help to do it, so go watch that video. That is all from me. As always, a big huge thank you to Amanda Medina, Chris Del Padre, and Logan Plant for helping this video come together, and an even bigger thank you to everybody who took the time to watch. Please let me know in the comments what games we forgot this month and why anybody should care. There are so many games coming out, it's hard to keep track. It's always nice to get a good human recommendation of stuff that's worth keeping an eye on. I will see you next month, or perhaps sooner if you go watch some of my other videos. Did you know that I can see you when you watch my videos? It's true. Now get your finger out of there. I'll see you next time.